So we don't have to introduce any guests and members today because we don't have guests
Who's
today.
on the screen, just so I know?
So on the screen, we have Jerry Lapidus, Kate Labor, Alice Horning, and myself and Angela.
Okay, thank you.
Our item number 3 is a very sad one. We have some illness updates on a couple of members. First, Robert Lampier passed away the other day. So I'm very sorry to hear that. You may know he did the Stratford class every year, and I know he's done some other ones too. He's a Shakespearean expert and a lovely man.
Yeah.
So I was very sorry to hear that. George Farrell, who you know has taught the movie class, is very ill with leukemia. He is in hospice. However, he has been pretty stable. We've gotten a couple of good reports from his partner, which is great, but he's quite ill also. Do you still have that the gateway or whatever you call it where you can
The Caring Bridge,
the
yes.
Caring Bridge? And so if people are interested to, give them a little hello, I hope you're doing well, you can do that.
And then we have one more with Monday Painters.
Barb Anderson passed away.
Oh my gosh.
Okay. And if you, somehow I found out, it wasn't from here, but her obit is really, really nice.
Okay, so what I'd like to do in lieu of all this is, these are weird situations because we're all getting older and we really don't like to hear the fact that people are getting sick or falling and knocking themselves out and whatever else. But if I could just have 30 seconds just to think a good thought about these people because they're having a tough time or some aren't having any time anymore. So 30 seconds, please. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
You want to take over?
Yeah.
Go.
So I didn't get a chance to get the meetings out. I've got them at home, but I will get them sent quickly.
You can just approve both next month.
Okay. The future meeting dates are November 21st. There's no meeting in December, January 30th, and February 27th.
Thank you.
I will not be at the November meeting.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've got our first round of proofreading done, Alice, is that correct?
I'm sorry, we got first rounders one.
Proofreading?
Yes.
Okay. And Beth, how did we ever resolve your situation?
We did.
I just did hers.
Okay,
I totally appreciate it.
thank you.
No problem. As I said, half of them were Beth's. She's a great writer, so it was a pretty easy job.
Okay,
So,
May I volunteered for that team and I haven't seen anything. So is it just being handled?
I think, well, Ryan is handling it, and I think his thought is that he would rotate a little bit so people
Okay,
wouldn't get stuck
cool.
doing it every time. But I'm sure you will be called upon,
No, that's fine.
probably for the,
Yeah,
No
I was
problem.
aware that I was on the review committee and I got 8 assignments.
Oh, my God. All right. Well, thank you, Alice.
Had nothing else to do that afternoon. So.
Yep.
so Lee, has there been any issues with proposals?
Not that I'm aware of, no.
Okay,
No, I think things are going pretty smoothly, obviously. Oh, do we have Ryan's report?
I'll pull it up.
Okay,
got the-
because I was gonna say he would be the person to ask
Well,
about
can
that.
we go back to the review committee?
Sure.
For a second. So I had a couple of thoughts. One is that it seemed to me, but I have to ask Ryan to take it actual count, but there seemed to be a lot of repeat.
Okay,
And I would like to know the numbers of attendance to know whether we should keep repeating these people.
The only time he does a repeat is if there's a full class and people were on the waiting list. And that's or close to it.
No, it's not what I mean from session to session, from like spring to fall.
No, I understand. For example, there's a repeat of the Doris Kearns Goodwin book.
Yes.
And that's because that class was very full and a lot of other people, I'm an example, are interested in taking it. He would never repeat the same class unless there appeared to be a desire for it.
Right. I mean, Molly Linder's classes just keep going and going and
Yeah.
going.
Yeah,
But she
She
goes.
changes the
she
topics a
changes
little
the
bit.
Topic.
yeah,
But
yeah, that's what I mean. I don't put I said, yeah, the classes I recruit that are going to be repeat, it's because it's exactly the same class.
And I would say we use the word encore for that type of class.
Oh,
So we know it's exactly the same thing. Cause I did that. Yeah, it's an encore. Because there were so many waitlisted.
And we had 25 classes with a
These are
waitlist.
not necessarily waitlisted. These are people, I think, who want to simply do it again.
can you give us an example?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Well, there's this guy in Oregon that, comes, that does something on this Jewish, with surviving.
Holocaust or whatever. Mhm.
I don't know, maybe his class is full. I have no idea. All I wanted to know is, can we look at, previous, when we see this repeat, can we have some data as to how many really participated in that class? And also what the evaluations were, because it sounds to me, but could be very wrong, that these people just enjoy doing this class and they keep repeating it. So
And I mean, I guess the only issue I would have with that is if it gets to a point to where we're renting a facility for $50 and the person's getting one person in their class, then it becomes an issue.
Yeah,
Otherwise, I mean, I know we've got this lovely young woman named Julie Andrus, and she was teaching at the First Pres. And I went to her first class because she was a new study group leader. She had 6 people. She was disappointed. We talked about it a little bit. We tried to drum up some interest. And she seemed to be okay with 6 people. And so we went and scheduled it again. And I think she's scheduling it for winter also.
Where is she doing the class?
I think she's still at First Pres.
Okay.
So we do look, just to let you all know, we do look at, the cost of the class versus how many people are in the class to make sure we're making money on it. And if we're not gonna make money, we do cancel those classes because we say, it's not even breaking even for us. And so if it's not gonna break even or make money, we're not gonna run the class. And then for those classes that are repeats usually, for us, it's also making sure that, like we did have, this year was the most oversubscribed class we ever had. We had 25 oversubscribed classes, and we had some that had, at least half of them had enough to have another full class, which is why some of those are also potentially encores again. And then what we're doing, we had said we're going to reach out to those individuals up front to say, if you want to be in this class, like it's going to be on this day and time, they get that first, they're kind of locked into the class because they were already on the wait list in the previous.
well, that's good to know.
Okay.
If they're making money, then that's.
Right, yeah, so everything, yeah, so even like people were worried about all the classes we had this past semester, and every class met its minimum,
Okay.
and we had 25 that were oversubscribed.
Another question I had, I was wondering about. Oh, I had suggested to Ryan, and I didn't know if this needed group approval, but on the front page of the proposal form, underneath the description, it should have the word, I said repeat, but should maybe have the word encore. Because many of the reviews I did, I knew were repeats, but they weren't.
the exact same class
Yes.
because of,
Um,
and in the second round.
can I just stop you? I apologize for interrupting, but can you folks on Zoom hear Alice?
Yes,
Okay.
Okay. I'm sorry, but you have a quiet voice. Yeah.
When I have Encore, a study group once, in the description, the first sentence, it's very important to put, this is an exact repeat from last semester.
Okay.
That's a good way to.
But the person, we need to have that somehow on the proposal because some people that I knew were repeats, I called them and I said, is this the exact same course? And they said, yes.
So I would recommend that you kick off the description of, this is a repeat from last session or whenever it was. I mean, if it was last
Oh.
winter and they're doing it in the winter again.
Okay.
I'll
Just,
make sure
just,
to tell Ryan that.
just a
He-
minute.
he can-
Heat, but yes,
Okay.
okay.
Excuse me. Kate, you got a question or a comment?
Yeah, I just wanted to say that, like I am offering a repeat of my study group for next term. And I did that when I did the first offering too. I just don't feel confident that I can really tell how much appeal it has by just running it once. Because sometimes word of mouth takes hold, or you pick the wrong, a bad day or time, or the place that you were having it at wasn't accessible to some, I don't know. But I also wanted to make a distinction between classes that, you're talking about a repeat, like the content is the same. I can see that for most of the study group topics. When it comes to something like painting, or drawing, or, one of those things, then the term repeat is a little bit misleading because it's always different.
Yeah, I don't think that.
No,
Yeah, no.
but how are we going to capture how is Ryan or the reviewer going to know it's a repeat? I just happen to know these people, the ones I knew.
So you definitely feel it should be added to the form that people use to submit their class? Okay.
It could be-
That form, by the way, has some major problems. It needs to be redone. There are some places where you can't even select to the thing that you're told to select, or you're told to select all that apply, and it's actually a radio button, so you can only select one. So, I can, that's something I can help with. I'm pretty good with Google Forms, so if that's the issue, I can certainly volunteer to help with that. So if we're going to make changes to that form, let's think holistically.
Yeah.
I think on the form, Kate, it needs to be in bigger print or bolder or something, what the word limits are on the descriptions. Because a number of people are going way over the word limits.
Well, actually, you can set a limit that won't let them go over that limit if you want. You can
Yeah.
say, limit this to this many characters or words
What
or
do
whatever.
we end up with 75 words or 100?
Yeah, 75 for the description and for the bio.
Okay.
I find that could be a problem. And I think in the editing phase, we could probably cut it back. I find that describing some of the books that I do in my class would get me to maybe 125 or so. So I think forcing that limit would hurt the course description.
We can have,
And I think, I agree with Jerry, and I think it pisses off the leader.
well, I think the things we were gonna do was just for the catalog needed to be that length. Online, it can be the full length.
Yeah.
Because what we're trying to do is reduce the amount of pages. This past fall catalog.
Yeah, but there are some people who just go with the catalog.
Right, I understand that, but the catalog at the size and scope it was for the 120 plus classes we had cost us $16,000 to
Yeah.
print.
How much would it cost
The amount of pages
to
with
get
its.
fewer study groups? I mean, shorter study groups. What would be the difference?
Difference is we wouldn't get income from more study groups. I don't think we should reduce study groups so that some people.
No,
can
no,
write
that's not what I'm saying. If
125
we
words.
Yeah,
reduce the
I would
course,
ask,
Just a minute, guys, just a minute. Jerry, go ahead.
yeah, if the course description on, let's say, I don't know, if we have 75 study groups, let's say the course description for 25 of them were on the average of 25 words longer. I'm making just numbers up. What would be the difference in cost? I think it would be very slight.
compared to the profit you make on study groups, Angela.
Well, the thing is, I mean, like when you look at it, we put this catalog out twice a year. So if it had the same amount of pages next time, we'd spend $33,000 just on the catalog, just on the printing of the catalog, not the mailing of the catalog. And so what we're trying to do is reduce the amount of pages. And so we're not going to be super strict of like, it has to be 75, we're going to cut it off. Some might be a little bit longer, but and some might be shorter. but we're trying to keep it at that, so that way we can reduce, like our goal right now is to reduce it by 8 to 10 pages for this now upcoming, because that will save us a lot of money, because every time we do it, it's like in bundles of 4. And so if we can reduce it 8 pages, that will really help
Two
reduce the
bundles.
cost. It's 2 bundles,
Yeah.
yeah, so, I mean, we're not.
Well,
gonna
let me be more specific.
Okay,
I gave you some numbers, 25, said 25 courses are 25 words over, and I don't know if that's, real number or not. But what would that translate to number of pages? It might be just maybe 2 or 3 at the most.
right,
And what would be the incremental cost of printing those 2 or 3 pages? I think you need to figure that out to see if it's really worth doing it. I also think 75 words is too short by far.
I
Or,
feel differently about it. I think that the catalog this term was kind of uncomfortably large in the sense that like I wanted to take more copies of it out for people that I might be able to give them to, but then I thought, well, what if I don't, meet up with those people in time for them to get the catalog in a timely way? It's just going to get recycled. I think maybe I'll leave it, I feel like it's uncomfortably large now compared to the 2 previous ones. And so, and I know that's because we have more study groups and that's a good thing, but
but don't forget, it's not only on study groups. There was a pitch line lecture series that took up 3 or 4 pages.
yeah,
Out of
could it-
town for each one of their trips, they pretty much got a page.
And
That's
those
true, but
are
you think
all
it could-
being
could it
talked
be-
to as well.
Yes,
It's
yeah.
not just study
Yeah.
groups.
We could reduce, there are
Would it
some
be
fillers.
possible, Jerry, would it be possible
ju-
for you
just a
to put
minute.
to put
Kate-
something in your
Kate, go ahead.
description that directs people to go to the website to get a fuller description if you have a really long description?
No, can I say
Well,
something?
if for 25 words, I think you're asking, you're just inconveniencing them. I don't know if it's worthwhile.
another meeting.
My
Yeah.
feeling is we really have to look at the incremental cost of I don't know, maybe 2 or 3 extra pages. I would also suggest there are fillers in there, and we can take them out if we need to reduce the size.
So there's a committee working on this, Jerry. I think we should
Yeah.
wait and see what they do before we respond.
Yeah.
Because we're just yammering without any facts right now.
So
That's
the
it.
one thing I would let you all know, the reason we said the 75, because when lectures is there, is they've been planning bios and details at 75.
Yeah.
So that was kind of the standard. Like I said, we're not going to be super strict on it if it goes a little bit over. And Jerry, regarding your question, if it is 1 or 2 pages, we're going to have to add 2 more pages because everything has to be in bundles of 4. So if it goes over 1, we have to create 3 more pages to make that. So
I just wanted to get my word in.
Sure.
Yeah.
That it's not just the cost, but also the committee, because I'm on the shrinking committee. That we wanted to say that the catalog was so large, it was not almost readable. I mean, you have to take a whole afternoon to read it. So it was also, the shrinking committee wanted to address the fact that we wanted to make it easier to read. Not just that was less costly. So that was part of the shrinking idea.
Okay, one last comment. Go ahead, Craig.
Yeah, 2 things. First of all, I'm not seeing the in-person group at Turner. I see individual pictures, but not the whole thing.
Right, we don't have the owl today, Craig, so we're gonna have to get by without it. We've had some technical difficulties here in
Okay.
DeBrey.
Second
And
thing,
Beth,
one
Alice,
thing that I have done
Wheeler
is
here,
just,
and Angela.
I'm talking now. May I
I was
finish?
trying to tell you who was here. I was trying to answer your question.
All right. One thing I've done is put a link to a fuller description on the web, so anybody reading the description who wants more can follow that link.
Okay. So you put a link right in your study group description, Craig?
Yeah, it's a bit.ly,
Sure.
short link, and I did that last time. That seemed to work fine.
Okay.
Very good.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, so we move on, I guess.
Thanks, Alice.
I guess we skipped one here. So I want to make an announcement to everybody in this group that there's going to be a lot of positions coming open for all types of positions for Leadership Council. And if you've got anybody in mind who you think might be able to handle chair of study groups, please let Lee and I know. We really need to get going on this, and I want to, oh, you're going to be it?
I'm the chair of the nominations committee.
Okay,
So the chair of study group committee is chosen by the committee,
Right.
not by the nominating committee. So if you're interested in chairing this committee, that's great. Just, let us know. But you can obviously talk to Beth about any of the other.
But Beth, one thing that I want to make sure that everybody understands is if we can't find a chair internally, then you're going to go get us a chair?
No, that's not my job. It's up to the committee.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So what we
I mean, it's up to your committee.
No.
No, it's up to our
It's up
committee.
to
So-
individual
so-
committees.
So I'm term limited and I will leave in May.
Right.
Yeah.
And if there's nobody that stepped up to be chair of study groups, then we just won't have a chair.
So what we've done in the past with other committees when this is happening, we ask people in that current committee to potentially maybe step in for the month and attend leadership council meeting. And so people can kind of see what it's like. 'Cause sometimes they're not joining because they don't know what the workload actually is. We ask, for recommendations for co-chair options like you all are doing. But we ask those committees to continue to work. So it might sometimes it's taken us 3 or 6 months after there's no chair to get a chair to step up. But we ask the committees to keep kind of at least stepping in to make sure you all have a voice on the leadership council and can bring that back to the committee.
Okay, so that's that. So when I do step down, one of the things that I have a particular affection for and that I would enjoy is the class assistant committee. I know this really hasn't done a liftoff yet, and we don't have a lot of great class assistants, but I think I can find them if this can be my position. There's only 5 new instructors for the next semester. Those are the people's names, and those are the classes they're teaching. I thought I'd throw it out. Lee, go ahead.
Yeah, I think probably you can't decide till next month because we don't know the days and times of those classes. And so I would say, let's wait till that happens before.
Well, I
we choose
understand that.
people.
I just wanted to put this out
Yeah.
there so people had something to think about.
Okay, great.
They
Thank you.
look interesting.
Dallas.
I'm the one that got Megan Courtney. But I don't think they will need it unless I can ask her, but I don't think she's a class assistant. That's at the Bentley. And they do their own thing pretty easily.
Okay. But
And
I mean, I still feel very, what is the word I want to use? I still think it's important that at least somebody from study group committee shows up. No?
At least the first day.
Well, this is a single one.
Yeah.
That's
Oh, okay.
the session. I can ask her if she needs some help, because Brian Williams did this, before he didn't need any help. They do, it's a presentation with a tour of the Bentley, and they're doing tours of the Bentley now every once a month.
Okay.
So this is Bentley, dear? Yeah, okay.
So, yeah, the Bentley itself is doing a tour of its.
Now, I can't remember, but when we did our last tour of the Bentley, did we actually have people introduce themselves? Did we give them name tags or anything? I mean, we could have been just a regular mob, huh?
I didn't do anything because, Brian Williams was the presenter and, I have had tours of the Bentleys. I asked him if he needed any help. He said no.
Okay,
So I can ask Courtney if she wants any help,
okay.
if you want me to sign.
Go ahead, Lee.
That's pretty much the typical way that class assistants work. If you've been assigned someone, you contact them before the class starts and just says, what can I do for you? If anything, it shows that Ollie appreciates them and cares about them and is willing to help. And sometimes folks say, there's nothing you can do for me. I'm fine, but other times, they say, great. So I think it's really more for somebody like this, it's more the offer and the expression of interest
Yeah.
that matters.
And the other committee that's going to be new is the MAP people.
Okay.
And I'm going to be attending that one. I assume I get in.
Sure.
So,
And I recruited Phil, so I can probably do that one, but we can worry about that next month.
Okay.
Okay,
Phil, the Gregorian chant guy.
yeah.
That sounds interesting.
Yeah, he's gonna let people sing or listen, depending on their tone deafness.
We do chants at the end of some of my yoga classes and my airways just don't function. Everybody's chanting and I'm done in 30 seconds. But anyways, study group manual digitizing project. Ann, you sent us a Word.
Yeah,
did we
I was
just skip-
looking. in
Did we
fact, I
just
was
skip
looking for
number
mine.
7? Did we just skip number 7? I wanted to ask that earlier.
We did 7 before 6.
Sorry, Kate, but go ahead. What's your questions for 6 or 7, whichever it is?
Well, I don't know what was said. I must have like been distracted or something because I don't remember talking about it. So
So I
what
know
did we
that
do with that?
so I know that we've done a one round of proofreading at this point. Is that correct, Kate?
Yes.
Yeah, that's correct. But I guess that maybe I misunderstood what that agenda item was for because is that like those subcommittees reporting to the committee, or is it that we have business about setting up those subcommittees? Because I don't know that we actually have set up those subcommittees. Have we set up those? Did I miss that too? I'm missing a lot here.
No
Sorry.
problem.
This is when we talked about the proposal length, et cetera. That's what we got into with that.
no, but
But-
Kate's right. We
Right.
proposed these committees and never really fleshed
Sure.
them out as to what they were going to do.
Thank you.
Okay.
That was my concern because I wanted to say that I do want to be on the proofreading committee, but no one has actually asked me, or I have not said it in a formal way to say, okay, now I'm a member of that subcommittee.
So
And no-
last month I asked folks who were interested in a subcommittee to express that interest to me, and we would go from there. So I'll say again, we have the
So we should send you
proposal
an
committee,
email
the
link?
class assistant committee, and I'm trying to remember
we
what the
should-
other recruiting.
We should send you an email, Lee. Is that
That would
the
be great.
idea?
And then I'll, maybe you can send it to me and
Send
Will.
an email to Lee to be on, to sign up
If
for
you
one.
want, well, yeah, but I mean, I think, obviously, I don't know how much more work there is on the proposal committee for winter, but that's not the last semester in the world unless the world comes to an end. So, yeah, so I would just say to everybody on the study group committee, please consider serving on a subcommittee, again, assuming the world still exists. And the committees you might be interested in are the proposal committees, which includes proofreading, but also does the title match the script? Is it an appropriate subject matter? Things like that. Then we have the class assistant committee, which Will has already volunteered to lead. Thank you, Will.
Yep.
And then finally, recruiting committee. So extroverts, bring it on. And so if you're interested in any of those committees, yeah, just give an email to me and Will, and we'll set those up, and we'll see how it works. And if it works, that's great. And if not, we'll try something else.
Okay. One second, Allison. Craig, go ahead.
Yeah, maybe I'm missing something now. Ryan has sent me past couple of times sections to proofread, and I
Yeah.
assume he's done that with others. So we have a de facto review committee, don't we?
No.
This semester, yes.
Yes.
Okay.
So go ahead, Alice. Sorry.
I think we haven't really, you have talked about what these committees are going to do, but I think we really need to have this in writing and have a discussion of this group, what the committee should be doing before we decide if you want to be on that committee.
Okay. I feel like I did this at an earlier meeting. You're right, it wasn't in writing, but we did formulate the job for each committee, but I'll put it in writing and we can talk about it next month.
I think part of the discrepancy is, I had a similar thought as Craig's, which is that without a committee, Ryan is just sending out portions of this to various members. We're sort of relying on him to make sure everything gets covered, and that, I don't know, it seemed like the portion that I had was so small and so short. I wondered how we could proofread the whole thing, even if we divided it up among all the committee members with that short of a list of things. Not to mention that there could be some overlap, so that more than one pair of eyes are reading each set. Yeah, Alice.
Yeah, Alice, go ahead. Alice Horning.
My impression just that is that he sent us in the latest round clips from the spreadsheet.
Hmm.
I think there's another round of proofreading coming that will be catalog page group after it is set up by the production people, whoever that is. And he gives each of us some pages. I don't know how he divides it, but you look at it, it's a PDF file. So you have to be able to correct a PDF and send it, look at it, and send the corrections back. We might reasonably ask him to send out a little explanation of how it works. He probably thinks everybody knows, but clearly everybody does not know. It's not that complicated, really.
Okay, so let me just tell you what happened so far this semester, okay? Ryan took a look at the folks who did the editing most recently and said, let's give other people, the burden or the opportunity, depending on how you look at it. So that's how folks were assigned. So yes, it's true, there was a de facto committee, but I mean, he had to do that. The time frame was short, and we haven't selected a committee yet. So Ryan continued to do it this semester in the same way he's done it in previous semesters, namely giving several people a few. So one thing we can ask him about is whether it makes sense to him to have different people do a second pair of eyes on it when it's printed. So I think that's a good idea. I will talk to him about that. But meanwhile, I mean, this is, necessity is the mother of invention. It had to
Well,
get done.
as Alice says, it sounds like there's already two reviews, because there's the spreadsheet review and the preprint review. And so I don't know that you need any more pairs of eyes than that.
Okay, well, I'll talk to Ryan and see what he thinks. But meanwhile, next month, I'll try and write something about each subcommittee. We can vote, and then within the next, couple of weeks, maybe, you can talk about which subcommittee you would like to be on. And then we'll go from there. People can just talk on the phone or go get a cup of coffee or do a Zoom meeting. It does not have to be a formal thing, but subcommittees may want to meet. Okay. Is there anything else on that, or can we move on?
I do have one thing. I'm happy to do a review. I don't want to be on a committee. What Ryan sent me this whole big list of people, and I have to have that afternoon free. And I re-edited quite a few of them, and some of them got back to me like Will and said thank you. So I didn't have any problem with people saying they don't like what I did.
Confused. Are you talking about their proposals?
No.
You're talking about what goes in the.
Yeah.
I just needed that clarification.
And Ryan said, take a look at it, and I did edit about 5 out of the 8 and got back to people, and I you know, I didn't have any problems with people with my edits. I mean, they could re-edit what I did, but I don't want to be on a committee doing that. I don't mind doing it privately in my home.
Okay, well, that may be something that we talk about next month. What, right? That seems to me to be something we can table this month.
Sounds good.
Okay. Digitizing.
Digitizing the manual. You had something to say, Ann?
Well, the thing I sent out to you guys, I just happen to have in my file on my Apple. And somewhere we scanned that, and I don't know if that's worth anything. I
Okay.
mean, so it's just a, when you use the term digitizing, what does that mean?
Well, what I'd like to do, my aim for all this is somehow we put together a document that we can edit. Because as you and I both know, or as the whole committee knows, there's a lot of things in the original study group manual that really doesn't apply anymore.
Then I'm not sure this, yeah, perfect.
But Kate and I are gonna set a meeting because Kate has volunteered to help me with this. And why don't we set that meeting date right now, Kate? Can we do that? And I will send an invite out to the rest of the study group committee if anybody else would like to help. And Alice, you have a question about setting the meeting date or?
Well, I'm happy to help if it's worth it, but I think, Stu is not Stu going to be involved? Because he's the one that wrote the manual the first time.
Well, I'll keep Stu involved, but to be honest with you, I know Stu is knee deep in his SIGs. He loves his SIG. He's on the SIG committee, as a matter of fact, or at least he was. And I don't want to rely on him
Okay,
to go forward with this because
okay,
let me
okay,
phrase it tactfully. I just want to get it done,
okay.
So I feel like there are
Sounds like
two
fun.
things. One, getting the thing digitized so it can be edited, and then editing it.
Yes.
And it may very well be that you want to put a study group manual committee together.
Yeah.
But we can talk about that later.
And that's a two-person committee at this moment. It's Kate and I.
Okay, so you are thinking that the digitizing is just going to happen and then you're going to be working on that. And anybody else who's interested in working on the study group manual, let Will know.
Should edit it before you digitize it, because I think you're going to come out of it up.
Isn't it
Well,
getting digitized?
I think we can do two passes. I think we can go through and see if there's anything, any sections that we can either they have to be completely revised or they're just no longer applicable. We can get rid of them. And then we take all that text and digitize it, and then we cut it down because you're not effectively going to be able to, I mean, you're going to just have to digitize it all and then cut.
I don't know, my small.
Unless
brain-
it's excisable before we do the digitizing completely, like all of those pages, nothing on those pages is going to be digitized.
Don't you want to start with the original document, get it, as you said, you guys edit in an editable format, but have everything in there so we know what to kill, what to add, what
Right.
to, yeah.
That's my suspicion is that, yeah, that would be the way to go. I was thinking a very rough pass. The manual I've got has stuff in it that's clearly no longer viable. It's just too backdated and it's concerns stuff that doesn't even seem to be part of things anymore. So I think there could be a first layer of excision, but it doesn't matter to me. It's the digitizing is a fairly automatic process. Problem is that you have to go through all of that afterwards, and how much time that sucks up depends on what level of editing you need to do with it.
And that's okay. And my vision for this is I want to get it digitized first. And then there may be a rotating roster of people who want to review and I don't have it in front of me right now, but who want to review what is the responsibility of a study group leader or whatever the chapter might be, and just go from there. So, Kate, what do you have open for the month of November?
What are we talking? What day of the week might we be talking? Let's look at it that way.
I kind of like Tuesdays.
All right.
In
What
afternoons, if that's possible.
afternoons? And are we going to meet at Turner Center, or do you want to just meet Or we
We
could,
can always get the gold room, right, Angela? Or even
or we
that
could, you know, we
other
could,
room?
Yeah, we just have to check with, the scheduling with that one.
Okay,
we could
yeah.
meet at the JCC too. That seemed to be convenient for us both, the last time we met.
Yeah. I don't know
Um,
how much they appreciated our conversation, but yeah.
Well, that's true. Okay, the, like the 18th or, how about the 11th?
Let's start with the 11th. That's Veterans Day, you know.
Yes, it is. By the way, happy Halloween, everyone.
Sure.
Happy Halloween to you.
And there should be a DLS lecture in the morning. So if you want to do like 1 o'clock in the afternoon,
How about 2?
do.
Okay,
So make sure we stay on time, because we do have to be out here at 11:30, because I have to set up for lunch today.
Yep.
We're close.
Okay, so is it maybe the
I'm gonna
Uma
put it
then
down
could
as
be a short
Turner.
description?
Will, I'm putting it
Okay,
down.
and we'll put it down as Turner Sherman.
Yeah.
So 2 p.m. on the 11th at Turner. Okay.
Okay, Uma.
Okay. Alice, what do you want to say about Uma?
Well, Julie Herrera, I attended her, class on the Unabomber, and then she emailed me about 3 weeks ago that Uma is joining her because she collects all these protest kinds of things. They are going to do an exhibit an art exhibit on protest movements starting January 24th. And it's a possibility that we could arrange a class. So we have an opportunity to go to the museum and see this stuff, but we have a private person to tell us what we're looking at.
Sure.
And I'm kind of worn out about form, so if somebody wants to take this on, it's just a matter of arranging a day, and I would suggest Sunday, actually, for parking issues. That's such a.
So I will say this. As far as parking goes downtown, I thought I had the most brilliant idea in the world. I had a walking tour that I do on Tuesdays, and I had a wait list of 10 people. So I added a second section. And out of those 10 people, 7 of them said they would come. So, okay, cool. We can do the walking tours on Sunday. We can park for free downtown. And I scheduled 4 classes for 4 consecutive Sundays. Only 1 person has shown up to each class.
Oh, wow.
So parking doesn't seem to be that attractive.
Oh, okay.
So I don't want to base my life on,
But let me just say, last year,
okay,
there was a pitch line program on Sunday
yes.
at the art museum, and it was very well
And
attended.
that's why I modeled my walks after that, but,
I think the art museum is an attraction.
okay.
Well, and the Carytown concert was also well attended on a Sunday. It was great.
So you want to stop communications with Julie on this, Alice? Is that what you're saying, or?
I just don't, I'm going to be working with Julie on a presentation she's going to do on the Vietnam protests.
Okay.
But I'm getting a little bit worn out.
Are you talking about for fall? Because winter is set.
Well,
Is this a study group class or is this an opportunity for the committee? I'm trying to understand what we're
There's
talking.
2 separate things. Okay, I'm going to be working with Julie on a fall class.
Right.
Okay, so that's it. This is the question here, this Yuma thing starts in January, I'm not sure exactly goes from January 24th to what, it's going to be a 3-part series.
Oh, boy.
And I was just wondering if there's somebody on the committee where I could email the form that Julie sent me.
It's a pitch line. It should go to pitch line.
That's what I was
It's
thinking.
perfect for pitch line. That's what they do.
Okay,
It's a pop-up at this
Yeah,
point.
and especially
Yeah.
when you already have a person, the pitch line things that are not welcomed are, hey, I am really interested in the history of forks.
Yeah.
Can you make that happen? But pitch line loves it when there's an individual, there's a plan, and they can help make it happen.
so you want me to contact the pitch line person
I've sent it to Lynn Boyer.
and send to Lynn Boyer and ask her if she could.
No, or there's a
Or the
pitch
pitch line.
line email. That's.
Yeah.
That's who you send it to.
Pitch line email.
I can tell you what the
Okay, great.
Omni pitch line, UMich.edu.
So may I start the Leadership Council report?
Sure.
Obviously, Angela was also there, so please feel free to either pitch in or correct me. But this is my perception of what happened. And this is, usually I don't talk about the whole meeting. I just talk about things that are relevant to study group. First, as has already been mentioned, the nomination process is beginning. A chair has been appointed, Beth, and so there are going to be lots of positions open. President, vice president, secretary,
2-member at large.
and 2 members at large. And so this is an opportunity for lots of people to get involved with Leadership Council. And if you're interested, I encourage you to tell Beth, or if you know someone you think would do a good job, I encourage you to tell Beth. And it would be great if you could tell her within the next few weeks, because they're trying to, get the nomination process going
Yeah,
forward.
I need 2 people on the nominations committee. with
Oh, you still
me
need-
and
okay.
Angela.
Okay.
And
Is it just you at the moment?
yeah, well, the new process, we've shrunk the committee. It's
Okay.
gonna be 4 people.
Okay.
Although it could be more if more people step
Right.
up.
Mhm.
But right now it's me and Angela.
Okay.
So we need more people on the committee first, and then we'll be reaching out.
So if you just need someone who's comfortable reaching out and not someone who's doing any computer work, I'm happy to help you. Okay, I mean, if what you're talking about is calling, cold calling people and saying, hey, you want to be a member at large? I'm happy to do that kind of stuff. So if you want me to serve on the committee, I will. I just can't do any of the paperwork. Okay. There's been a great amount of progress made with the Friends of Ollie Fund. So I want to tell you a little bit about that. That was actually started several years ago, but it's been revived. Bernie and some others have had communications with the original donor, and they've done a new document that describes the fund. It's a quasi-endowed fund, and what quasi-endowed. And what that means is that you don't pull money out every year. If there's a particular purpose, which I'll tell you in a second, it can be pulled. But it's not like the general fund or even like our Ollie endowment, which kicks out, a certain percentage,
5%.
every year. So this is, they're trying to grow it to 1 million. There has been some growth, which is exciting. So the document explains the purposes for which money will be pulled out of that fund. And those purposes are strategic initiatives, financial emergencies, and opportunity investments that have demonstrable long-term benefits. So you see that as opposed to what's going on this year, there's a more long-range idea for the fund. They've worked on a frequently asked questions thing. It's you're going to be able to go online now and read about the opportunities for giving, right? And we have the Friends Fund, which if you're interested in these things I just told you about would be a great investment. We also have the Ollie General Fund, which is very useful because it actually handles things going on during the next fiscal year. So you can give to one, you can give to the other, or you can give to both. And so I encourage you to go online and take a look at that. And maybe tell some friends about it if they're interested in how they can help support Ollie. And both of those funds, by the way, are just for us. It's not like the general Kind Hearts Fund that goes to 6 different, which is also a wonderful fund. But if you want to give money directly to Ollie, those are the 2 ways to do it. And
What do you want, Angela?
Our biggest need right now is the annual fund, because the
Okay.
annual fund supports us right now
The
because.
ready money.
Yep, ready money, because
Okay.
we get our money from, 50% of our money comes from membership and program revenue. We get about 30% from the, OSHA annual distribution. This year will be $147,000, and then the balance comes from grants and donations for us and the Big Hearts event. So for us, that's what goes.
So when you write a check, is it Ollie General Fund or, I mean?
No, just do Ollie dash
UMass.
UM.
Yeah,
And then that way it goes to the annual. And if you
Okay.
wanted to go to Friends of Ollie, it would, you can just put in the note, it's Friends of Ollie.
got it. Okay.
So one of the priorities for Ollie is, they're thinking about how to enhance membership. Groups have been identified as sort of, we have to start somewhere instead of just being a, formless mess. So those are people 50 and older, or maybe it's 55, Angela?
50.
So we're trying to, our average age is pretty high right now. So younger people, Ypsilanti, and people of color are the sort of targets. And so one of the things we can keep in mind is when we are doing classes, for example, is what might appeal to young people. What classes could we have in Ypsilanti? Actually, we've been told by, I guess it was UMS, that we might be able to use the Freight House for classes. And I thought, man, what a cool place for Mystery Night, for example.
Sure.
And so, and Will's doing some Ypsilanti walks, for example. So, that's a great example of how we might be able to reach out a little farther.
And on that too, just to let you all know, the one thing we found out from the National Resource Center when we have our national conferences, the thing that attracts that 50 to 65 groups are the one-offs. So if you do like the one sessions, that has really grown that younger population because they can fit that within their schedule easier.
One-offs, and I would imagine Zoom.
Yes, one-off Zoom, and then if you do a Zoom in the evening, or if we've done weekend program, like when you said when we've done things on Saturday or Sunday, that as well.
Okay. Let's see here. As you may recall from last month, and then I sent you an email asking you to vote. We're going to have a few classes from Osher Online. That's done by the National Osher. And it's great because we do nothing except collect some money. It's a very cost-effective way for us. Basically, we're charged 45, I think, and these six-time classes, like the Dartmouth in the summer, we're going to charge $100 for. So it's a great way to help.
Those were great.
Yes, they were great. And, these classes originally were curated by, an expert in the field. And, a few people voted, not as many as I hope, but that's okay. And did you get my email saying that our committee? Okay. So the committee suggested the Frank Lloyd Wright, JFK's piece, and great science stories. And that was what the majority went. And then I pointed out, if you decide you're doing more than 3, there was also interest expressed in the music controversies and the brain class, which I was worried at first was a lot like the one that we just had, but it's not. It's totally
What were the
different.
3 again? Frank Lloyd Wright.
Frank Lloyd Wright, JFK,
Quest for Peace. Yeah.
and
Great science.
great science stories. Yeah. And so I don't know if you're going to do more than 3. That's why I gave you the.
It's interesting, and that's what our team.
I got to tell you, there was a fair amount of unanimity. It really was interesting.
Isn't that
And my understanding is there's a fair amount of unanimity with lectures and other groups. A lot of people.
So I think we
like-
will probably have 5 or 6, just because like the 4 committees we reached out to was lectures, study groups, Ali out of town, and the pitch line. And so we wanted to make sure we had that balance from those. So we just have to do a minimum of 3, but we probably will do more just because we know there's a lot more interest in it.
Yeah.
And we only have to have one person from our alley for it to go, because it is a nationwide program.
It's just such a congrats on doing this. I just thought it was such.
Angela's done a lot of work on this. So it's exciting that it's
So
coming.
do these happen at any particular
Summer.
time?
No, they're next semester. The times are actually listed on the things we
Well, I
sent.
thought it was later after.
May.
April.
Yeah, they're April and May. So these are their spring sessions. So they're April and May. And because they do it throughout the United States, most of them are in the afternoon or some evenings, but we have a couple of them at maybe like 11 o'clock. So for people on the West Coast, they have like 8 o'clock time frame for it, but they vary.
And they rotate days.
So
There
does,
were concerns from lectures particularly about
yeah,
overlap.
Right, overlap. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, most of those, I
well,
think,
and we have to schedule around it too, Beth, yeah.
Yeah, but most of them were they were like at 2 o'clock, sometimes were 4 o'clock. They have some 6 or 7 o'clock, they had different time starts. And so again, that helps with those people who are potentially still working as well. But then I think they're not conflicting with our classes. I think only maybe 2 of the classes conflicted with like the lectures.
Well, and Ryan scheduled 75 classes last semester, and we've got 60 this time. So I think, Ryan can schedule around that. And I did tell, Angela, please don't do the AI ones, because we have 3 AI study groups. And so they're definitely taking into account, we're not going to repeat lecture. We're not going to repeat a study group. And so there's a lot of sensitivity to that, and for which I'm
Awesome.
grateful.
Awesome.
Got some good news last month. Our membership numbers were up from 821 last year at this time to 842, and there should be more in February. Institutional organizational members up from 5 to 7, so that's great. And we are getting a little more income because, as you know, we raised the prices of classes, and this is where you might want to help me, Angela, but I'll start. We ended the year with $56,734, which sounds great, except generally accepted accounting principles want, 6 to 9 months worth of money set aside, in case there are emergencies, and we're not there. So we were still in a challenging situation, but a lot of the decisions that were made by the Leadership Council, I think, are helping.
Do we know how many new members we have?
Yes, I can let you know. So we just had a new member meet and greet the other day. Thank you for those of you who showed up. We had 119 new members from August to the end of September before we sent that invitation out, which is up from the previous year. We had about 75 new members at the same time last year.
Awesome.
That's great. So Angela, when you mentioned the lecture program revenue and the study group revenue, did that include fall of 25, or was that last year's fall and
No,
spring?
That's fall of 25.
Okay. Because we're still $115 behind lectures, so we need to raise some more money. Yeah, lecture program revenue is 27,939. Study group,
Yes,
27,824.
But our profit margins are much better
Yes,
than
they are.
lectures.
And that was as of September. So I mean, it's always like when I do the reports out, it's always the previous month's. So I don't get the report until like that third week of the month. And so when I'm reporting out, it's always a month ahead in advance.
Jim said the numbers of people lectures is dropping.
It has been, yeah. So that the numbers in person and on Zoom. And so next year they're looking at moving to going from the auditorium into the Palmer, because like even in person, their max they've had is maybe 75.
Yeah.
And the Palmer room, yeah, and that's it. And so if they go to the Palmer room, they said they can actually max it to like 80.
Yeah.
They can squeeze 80 in that room.
It's a lovely room.
It is.
Yep. Ah, interesting.
And then finally, Angela mentioned at the meeting that some classes, there've been a few classes that have had disruptions. This is not something that is normal or common, so we don't want to make too big of a deal about this. But probably in the letter that I send to, because it also reminds me of that, don't put beans in yours, and all of a sudden everybody's putting beans in. It is important to let our facilitators know that we're here to support them. So as you know, we have that letter that we send out to leaders before class, during class, after class. Beth has suggested, and I think she's right, I'm going to edit that thing and turn it into bullet points so it's easier to follow. But also I am going to put a thing in there that says, these groups are great and problems don't occur very often, but if they do, you can remind people, that civility is the alleyway, and please report it to Ryan. But I'm going to try and do that in a low-key way, because I really don't want to get people all worked up about something that hasn't happened that much. But I would like them to know that Ali is here to support them if something like that happens.
Going to have a clear policy of how to respond.
Right, yeah.
There already is one.
Yeah, so the alleyway, that's one of the things like we always ask people when you start off, even if you send like you said, instead of making it kind of stand out, when you send out your communications, always have that alleyway with it. And maybe just that initial classing, we follow the alleyway, review it real quick. Then that way, if there is an interruption in the class, you stop it during that class and just say, this is not the alleyway. let's be respectful and then move forward. So that way it's addressed. But again, I always still reach out to Ryan or myself to let us know, because sometimes you might think, well, that only happened once, but it's this class and we have a lot of other classes and that same person might have caused issues someplace else.
Never had.
So that helps us.
Yeah.
Yeah, I will take a look and see if it makes sense to put the alleyway in the letter. One of the things I always worry about is, they've done research for purposes, it's a different context, I know, but in products liability cases about duty to warn about things, once they put too much stuff in, nobody pays attention to anything.
No,
And so there's a balance between providing all the information you want and people having short attention spans. So that's something that I will take seriously and try to do. And I don't know, Beth, maybe you can, if you don't mind looking at it after I finished it. I don't want, well, you have a lot to do, so never mind.
No, it's fine.
Okay.
I just want to say, unfortunately, my daughter was at the hospital a lot last year and St. Joe's NU. And then we chuckled because the U has this thing, give respect, expect respect, as their poster. Whereas St. Joe's is, we don't tolerate it, big letters all over the place. So the U, I thought, was a much, obviously, more friendly approach.
I agree. It should be a friendly approach. Absolutely. No question.
Out of curiosity, and since you brought it up, Alice, how is your daughter?
She's off, she's off 2 feedings as of last year. Still had a couple of issues with that. And she can tolerate most foods. It's just mostly fatigue issues. Because she had long COVID and it hit her gut.
Okay.
She's got another.
I'm sorry to hear that.
issue, so she would be 7 months.
Yeah.
It
Okay.
was not it was pretty spaced out.
It was a bad
I'm
year
sure.
for you.
Well, thank
Well,
you.
that's all I have to say about Leadership Council. So if you want to move on to news and discussion,
Okay, I'm
maybe
gonna
we should go to Ryan's.
I'm gonna
report.
table news and discussion for a minute. I'm gonna do an email that Ryan sent me. These are really just numbers, but I wanted to give them to you anyways. So for the winter, we have 63 study groups. 2 of those are on hybrid, 20 are virtual, and 41 are in person. 63 is a healthy number, as we usually poll 55 to 65 for the winter spring term.
Can you just, okay. He
We-
said, go ahead. Sorry.
Okay, we've adopted asked for a single session, so that's going to continue forward. That's going to be marked in the index as well as the title header. Registration for the lottery opens on December 18th and runs through winter open house on 1/13. Is that right, Angela? It runs.
So,
Yes.
We usually kept the lottery open a day after the open house, though, right?
So,
yeah,
it's usually the day after. So,
Okay.
yeah, they have that, that next day, Ryan pulls it like later in the afternoon.
And then Friday we send
so
notifications.
114 is lottery day.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Oh, I'm sorry. And then the next statement that Ryan wrote me says lottery concludes on 1/14 and members receive class notices on 1/15.
Yes.
Alice, we've got to look at my auto show thing because I was trying to get them down for the auto show, but my class might, maybe I did a Monday and a Friday.
Okay.
Okay, we'll talk about it.
Would it be possible
let
for
me
you to set that little calendar, that little schedule out as a, like an email or some kind of text file?
You want,
Those
you want
dates?
you want all these dates sent to you? Is that what you're saying, Kate?
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
Okay.
Ryan, send this report to
I'm
the
trying to
committee.
keep up here,
No.
but Yeah.
No problem. I will send this out to the committee.
thank you.
Okay, a couple more things. The lottery concludes on 1/14. Members receive their notices on 1/15. Classes / lectures begin the week of 1/19. Proposal deadline for fall 26 is May 15th. And here's a couple things that Ryan, you okay? Oh, I'm sorry.
You said May 15th?
Yes.
Okay.
And here's a couple things that Ryan and I learned sort of the hard way for the last semester. When scheduling classes, we need to stick to the same location and room moving forward. It's too confusing for members to move the room around. I think, were you in the Chuck Bonsma class this time? And, you know, Chuck's a very lovely fellow, but what he did is he had a class scheduled for 24 people. And so we decided to have it in room 130, which seats 24 people comfortably. Unfortunately, we asked Chuck to open up the wait list, and he did, to all additional 16 people.
Oh,
So when we met in room 130, everybody sat there like this with shoulder to shoulder. And I think we may have lost, I think Chuck and I figured it out, we may have lost 10 people from the first session to the second session. So then we started trying to move the class around to different rooms in that building. That didn't quite work out so well. So going forward, we're going to just put it down to what we have, and I don't know how we'll deal with the wait list, but we will. It's also too confusing for members and a hassle for our excellent admin, Ellie, to create new reminders each week. Okay, so normally if you're meeting in 150 every week,
can send the same.
you can send the same thing out, but if she has to go in and send out a different thing for each one, it's just too much. Automatic reminder emails need to be scheduled for 9 a.m. for each class, as opposed to what we were doing previous to this, is we were sending them out an hour in advance of the class. That's just too short a notice. And we need to follow up and implement a process improvement for adding waitlisted people to current offerings. And this is, I don't think we've had this problem in the past. I think when Ryan and I sat down and talked about it, that we've had like maybe 2 or 3 classes oversubscribed in the past. Unfortunately, this time we had more than 25 classes oversubscribed. So now it becomes an issue. And not only that, you know, if Lee's teaching TED Talks and the class has 2 more people, you know, she's kind of inclined to say, okay, bring 2 more people in. But some of these classes are oversubscribed by like 15, 20 people. And, you know, that's been a challenge, and we'll work on that. I think,
Alice has a question.
Alice, go ahead.
Well, I went to the music class that Lou did
Uh-huh.
running, and that was a person sitting next to me said her friend couldn't get in, it was oversubscribed. But that's in the chapel, so and there's no reason that it needs to be limited, so.
Did you talk to Lewis about that, or?
The instructor.
That's Lewis's
Yeah,
call.
he said, I know, if we know Lewis. He said, I don't care how many are in here. And I thought, well, how is it?
You should have said that in your proposal form.
Yeah, so whatever they put on their form, that's a match for it, so, yeah.
So is there a way, that we could let Ally know that anybody on the wait list could still go?
What class was that one again?
Music. I think he just calls it music.
I
By
know he
Lewis Nagel.
Okay.
He was worried that he wouldn't get enough people. And when 17 signed up, he was delighted.
I'll check and see on the wait list.
Okay, and I think, let me double check here. I think that's all I have from Brian. So, news and discussion, I'll turn over to Angela.
So, news, I know you all have probably saw all the news that happened. We were talking about it earlier with that Nextdoor posting. And so now that it's all out,
Yeah,
it's heard with everybody. So you all know Joan Jones had an issue with Ali. She had initially sent it to, she sent a letter to the president of the University of Michigan, to the Office of General Counsel, ECRT, which is the Equal Rights, Civil Equity, Civil Rights, and Title IX, as well as Fox News.
And a bunch of her friends.
Yeah, and a bunch of
And Ally.
And so because she had sent that out initially, I had to reach out to our national executive director to let him know, because she sent it to Fox News and we're a nationwide organization. And it went to you know, it went to Title IX, it was an investigation, so we were told not to talk about it, which Ryan and I did not, and Will and Lee did not.
Sorry.
And she started emailing it to her friends and
Oh.
that. That committee said there is nothing, you know, the policy that we follow all University of Michigan policy because it was an issue with a volunteer and a staff person. Nothing was wrong. There was no anything because she had said the reason that she was informed she couldn't teach anymore was because she was Jewish.
Oh,
And we were anti-Semitic. So, and it was like Ryan, myself, and Ali itself. So,
That hurt, by the way.
yeah, thank you. It really hurt all of us.
I know Joan Jones, you know, it just didn't occur to me that she should have, you know, that I should know she's Jewish.
Okay.
Right.
Because when she emailed, and then she reached out to Alfreda, she found her cell phone number, which was like, wow. Yeah, so she called Alfreda, wrote, and but when she emailed Alfreda, it said Dr. Jones, Cohen Jones, but you know, all of our emails to say Jones, we don't know your ethnicity based on your name.
And don't care.
Right, so the ECRT said there was no investigation, she requested mediation. I agreed to mediation, it was voluntary, so you know, Ryan said he didn't have, and I told him he didn't have to do it, I'm representing Ali, so I said I would do the mediation with her. We did one session of mediation and then she decided to not do mediation. And then when she decided not to do mediation, she posted that Nextdoor post. And so thanks to Beth, that post was removed.
Thank you, Beth.
But,
Yes.
right now, she has secured an attorney and she is talking to the Office of General Counsel, who is now over it all. So now the Office of General Counsel is talking with her. Alfreda is still trying to talk to her because after all of that, she also sent a voicemail to the Osher Foundation to complain about us. And you know, but he was already aware of everything, and he said, Angela, you have, like, we're not even gonna respond to it. It's an Ali event thing, your leadership and what you all are doing great. So it has escalated. Alfreda has, you know, because she's still kind of doing some things and, you know, she wasn't aware of this. And then she's kind of been badgering Ali members because she's calling people now saying, hey, you're the one who talked about saying something about Ali. And so, I mean, she's like emailing them long paragraphs. And so everything we get, we're forwarding to Alfreda, who forwards that to the Office of General Counsel. And so the OGC and Alfreda Rooks is the head of Community Health Services, which we send under right now. So the two of them are trying to deal with this. You know, they were like, sue us if you want, but there's nothing. I mean, we have all the documentation. We've kept everything on file for her, but because she made it open, because her request was what she wanted initially when Alfreda said, you know, just to keep it quiet, was she wanted us to send a letter to all 1,100 plus Ali members to say that she was a wonderful instructor and this, we were wrong. And Alfreda was like, that's not happening.
Right.
Because nobody even knows about this, but you know, it's just Will and Lee,
Yep.
Ryan, myself and her. And then she's,
I would just suggest, unless you're interested in being a part of the amended complaint, that you just don't talk about this.
Oh,
I mean,
yes.
I think it's good that you know what happened, but and no good will come from
right,
talking about this.
right. And so, and that's.
I mean, I think it's important the committee know
Right, the
because,
committee knows, right, yeah. Because like I said, it went open when she posted that on Nextdoor. So, but just to let you all know, it's right now in the hands of the Office of General Counsel. And then Alfreda Brooks is still trying to help her because, again, it's not really, I mean, if you don't have a case on the ECRT side, she stepped away from mediation. The university said, yes, we will mediate with you. We had one session with her and then she said, no, I don't want mediation.
she wanted a new mediator.
She wanted a new mediator, yes. She didn't like the mediator.
So,
So obviously she's found some interesting ways to spend her retirement, but
What is the basis of her complaint?
he said we discriminated against her by telling her, because she was Jewish.
And that was her complaint.
It started because the title of the class
oh yeah,
was inaccurate. She and Ryan had, you know, communications and she decided that because it was unclear whether it was watercolor with pens or pencils, that no one would take the class, they'd be too confused. So she removed it from the catalog. And then she claimed that these communications with Ryan,
Removed her study group.
she removed her the study.
She canceled it.
She canceled it.
She was in the catalog.
But
Yeah.
yeah, but she basically said, you know, the reason all this happened was because I'm Jewish. So that's what's up.
She needs a rabbi.
Well, she said she was gonna talk to Rabbi.
And she's talking to her rabbi,
Yeah,
yes.
and a civil rights attorney, and I thought, good, because both of them are gonna say,
You ain't got.
chill out, honey.
And
Yeah,
Well,
but you know,
The
what are you
fact, the fact that she's Jewish had nothing to do with her conversations with Ali.
gonna- no,
no,
we didn't even know.
I didn't,
And I think it's pretty strong to be calling people in Ali anti-Semitic. I mean, that's a pretty strong charge. But not only, you know, is it not true that the people involved are anti-Semitic, but we didn't even know she was Jewish. So it's hard to discriminate against somebody for their religion when you don't know it. So anyway,
So yeah, so just moving forward, it's just that, I mean, you all know of it now because of the next door piece, but
Yeah.
it's part of the Office of General Counsel, so if somebody just said no comment. It's being
Yeah.
handled legally.
Sounds good.
what I've done when people have asked me is I say, she and Ali have a different point of view regarding what went on. It's currently being investigated, and so I'm not going to say anything else. But I do think, so Beth went to next door and said, you got to remove this because there's some inaccurate claims in there. And that's why they did. And that is always the problem, because on one hand, you'd like to defend yourself, but on the other hand, it just gets murkier and murkier. So that's what's up. That's why.
She actually followed up after Nextdoor dropped her thing. She wrote another one, and that disappeared pretty quickly too,
Wow. Wow.
within a day.
Good.
so give us some good news, Angela.
Good news is, our membership is up and growing. Like I said, you know, we have a lot of new members. We had about 20 new people attend the new member meet and greet. They were really engaged. They had great conversation. Right now we have additionally some new other organizational members that are going to be coming on board. We're in talks with Story Point to join us in their locations. We're in talk with, the Senior Regional Collaborative to become an org member, as well as Fox Run. So those are three potential new ones that we might have as organizational members.
There's, Bernie Bannett, who's part of,
Yeah.
is that?
Fox Run. So
Okay.
Bernie and James Spinner, who's a member at large, the two of them gave us contacts, and so we're in contact with both of those. So the goal is by January, that those two locations get become organizational members with this. So
Okay.
we're on target to exceed our numbers, but again, we just like to remind everybody, invite somebody first time to the lectures or evenings with Dolly, and you know, grow the numbers. And the winter open house is going to be January 13th.
Okay. Thank you.
Very good.
Can I just go on record? I think we should also do a, study group brouhaha for the holiday.
Okay.
You know, those, you know what I'm talking, they really like that.
The facilitators, you mean? Or
We've done to recognize
Yeah.
study group leaders, you know.
Oh, yeah, okay, last time, okay.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, but I have to go, and I know also the room has to be.
yeah, we gotta be out of
I
here.
got everything. from you,
I
I
think
do.
so, yeah.
possibly,
I'm just
give a
shock and awe.
I'm sorry, Beth, I got a doctor's appointment.
posted the,
We were saying she's not well.
I'll be in touch with you.
Okay, great. Well, I'll that and I'll pack.
She's not well.
Okay, Beth,
Sorry. Sorry.
Yeah.
we're starting to break off into side conversations. Do you have anything else, Angela?
No, that was it.
Okay, thank you, guys. Anybody else out there in Zoom land? Okay, meeting's done. See you next month.
Happy Halloween.
Okay, great.